everyone, I hope you're having a lovely Friday morning. I'm filming this on a very wet Thursday afternoon, so I've come up with the perfect Pilates routine that will activate a little bit of everything in your body. So you won't need any equipment for this workout. I am just going to be using my body weight for everything that I'm going to be doing in this video, but if you would like a towel behind your head for when we're lying down on the floor at the very end, that is absolutely fine. So starting off, all you need to do is come into a 4-point kneeling position on your mat. So hands are going to be directly underneath shoulders and knees are directly underneath hips. Now for this one, if you do have any issues through your shoulder, you may prefer to be down in this position on your forearms here. That is absolutely fine. Just make sure that you're not letting your shoulders sink to be around your ears. Really try and stay lifted in between the shoulder blades if you are taking this option. So I'm going to be demonstrating from this position here, but I'll give you little cues if whenever you need, if you are getting a little sore through your wrists or through your shoulders. So starting off here, I'm going to go into a cat-cow movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhale all the way out as I arch my back up towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to take a nice deep breath in as I arch my back through the other way. So think about it as squeezing all the air out of your lungs as you arch your back towards the ceiling, and then as you open up through your rib cage, you're taking a nice deep breath in. So exhaling out through your mouth and inhaling in through the nose. So imagine that you're exhaling through a little straw. So you're breathing out through a straw and then you're breathing in through your nose. So you're humidifying that air. Exhale out through the straw, breathing in through the nose. And let's go one more each way. So we're going to exhale out through that imaginary straw, and then we inhale in through the nose. Okay, wiggle it out through your spine. So bring in any kind of movement through your spine that you like. I really like to just wiggle it out through my spine because we're going to be going into lots of upper body movement to start off with. So I'm going to start off by going into a commando walk up and down. So I'll demonstrate first, then you can come and follow. So I'm going to walk down to my elbows first, and then I'm going to walk back up onto my hands. Now I'm going to be leading the way with my left hand first, and then I'm going to let you know when we change over to leading with the right hand. So by leading, I mean I come down onto my left, then to my right, then I press up with my left, then I press up with my right. So you can come and join me. I'm just going to give you one more little option for those of you that like more of a challenge. To make it harder, you can walk your knees further away from you and do the same movement. It makes it harder for the upper body because we're lifting more of our upper body in this position. And harder again, for those of you that like an extra little challenge, you can come up onto your toes and walk yourself down onto your forearms and then back up onto your palms. It is completely up to you. I'm going to be taking the middle option here, so making sure that my knees are just behind the line of my hips, my shoulders are forward so that they're over the top of my forearms here or my wrists, and then I'm going to walk down. Now for those of you that do have issues pressing up and down, you are more than welcome here to hold a plank for a moment and then just come up every now and again, and then come back down into a plank and then come back into this position. So when you're ready, come and join me. Let's lead with the left. We're going to go down onto the forearms, and then left hand presses up, right hand presses up. Left down, left up, right up. So really making sure that you're feeling your chest working to push you up and down. Every now and again checking in to make sure that your shoulders are back and down and you're not hunching your shoulders around your ears. Let's go one more on the left-hand side. And now we're going to press up with the right side. So now my right hand pushes up to standing or in that 4-point kneeling position. Now my right elbow goes down. Right hand up, left hand up. Right elbow down, left elbow down. And we're going to stay with this for about 6 more. So pushing ourselves up and down. So this is a really functional movement because we do this kind of movement a lot without actually realizing it. And we want to be equally strong through both sides of our body. Let's do one more on each side. You should be getting warm. And there we go, resting down. So now I'm going to stay on my forearms here and I'm going to do a movement through the lower body. Now just give a little shake of your head from side to side to make sure that you're not carrying any tension through your upper body. And then as soon as you're ready, think about poking your bottom out slightly behind you while drawing your belly button into your spine. So that will bring your pelvis into an optimal position here. From here, I'm going to kick my left leg back behind me without dumping through my core. So you want to keep your spine in the same position and kick one leg back, then tap it to the side, bring it back, and tuck it back in. I'm going to go over to my right leg now. So I kick the right leg back, tap it to the side, bring it back in, and lower back down. Left leg back, tap to the side, bring it back in, and gently draw that knee back to the ground. Extend, tap, return, and bring it back in. So keep alternating with me. Extend, tap, return, and bring it back in. If you are more comfortable up on all fours, that is completely fine. Some of you might find that less constricting than doing it the other way. It is completely up to you. But we're going to stay here for about 45 more seconds. So alternating single leg extensions with a little side tap. Extend, staying long and strong through your spine. Return and bring it back in. Keep alternating with these little movements here. We've got 20 seconds to go now. Tap, return, and bring it back in. You should feel your core working a little here, as well as your glutes, and your forearms will be working to stabilize you as well. Just make sure you're really drawing that belly button into your spine. We're going to do one more on each side now. Tap to the side, return, and bring it back in. And one more on that left side. Tap, return, and bring it back in. Okay, I'm going to come all the way down to the mat now because we're going to be working on some of our postural muscles that tend to be quite weak for the general population. Now, I'm going to be very cuey with this one, so bear with me while I talk you through the cues for this exercise. What I want you to think about doing most of all, so we're going to reach the arms out to a capital T position, just like this. So my arms are in line with my shoulders or slightly below the line of the shoulders. Now from here, all I want you to think about doing is lifting your shoulders away from the mat. Now for some of you, that might be really quite uncomfortable. If you would prefer, you can absolutely put a small cushion underneath your chest here to have you lifted up in this position a little bit more. Now, starting from here, if you can, just lift your arms away from the mat while squeezing your shoulder blades together and then lower back down. So this is the first movement here. It's just lifting the shoulders away from the mat and then open the arms out to a capital T position. Now, if that is too much for you and if your shoulders are aching, this is the one little cue I'll give here. Bring your arms up to little goalposts or 90-degree angles and lift and lower from that position. It's a shorter lever for your shoulder to have to lift. But otherwise, stay with me. And then level 2 is lifting up the chest as you lift the arms away from the mat. And then lower back down. So lift the chest and lift the arms into that little capital T position. We're going to stay here for 10 in a row now. So choosing whichever option you like, you can either just simply lift your arms and lower your arms, or you can come with me with a chest lift and lower. Let's go 8 more. Keeping the chin tucked, looking down at the mat, lifting and lowering. And 6, squeeze shoulder blades together. And 5, this is such a good movement for posture. And 4, and if you're really struggling with this one, you can do it from standing. 3, and just focus on squeezing shoulder blades together. 2, and lower. And let's go one more here. Fantastic work, beautiful work with those T's. Now we're going to go back into the A's. Now very similar movement here, but I want you to think about Superman flying through the sky. So here your palms are turned around down towards the ground, just like they were with the T's. And now think about lifting the chest a little and then lifting your palms off the ground. Really think about spiraling your collarbones open. So shoulders stay open away from each other and you are long through the front of your chest. So exhale, lift and reach the palms off the mat. Now you can simply just do a little lift of the palms off the mat. That's absolutely fine if you just stay with that slightly lighter option. Otherwise, imagine that you're flying through the sky and you reach your arms back behind you. This is going to be such a good movement for those of you that feel like you've got a little bit of a hump developing and you're really slumping forwards. This really strengthens those muscles that keeps your shoulders back in line with your body and not poking forwards. We're going to do 3 more here. So sweep the arms back, squeeze shoulder blades together, and 2, and lower down, and last one here. Fantastic work. Okay, take your time. We're going to come back up into a kneeling position, this time properly kneeling, so all the way up here. Now with this movement, we're going to go into a squat type movement, so we're really working our glutes with this one. So keep your feet nice and about hip distance apart, keep your knees hip distance apart, and then think about sitting up as tall as you possibly can. Now from here, I'm going to reach my arms forward as I sit my hips back towards my heels. Then I'm going to squeeze my bottom and push my hips forward. So inhale as you go down. Exhale as you squeeze your bottom and come back up to standing. Or kneeling, I should say. So I want you to think about hugging your glutes towards each other. That cue doesn't work for everyone, but I want you to think about drawing your sit bones together so that we're working through the inner thighs as well as those glutes. We're going to stay here for another 30 seconds, so really focus on poking your bottom right back behind you and then driving your hips forward using your glutes. So we're going to go for 6 and squeeze glutes and come up, and 5 and squeeze glutes and come up, and 4 and squeeze to come up, and 3 and squeeze, and 2 and squeeze, and one last one here. Fantastic work. Okay, going into a little bit more shoulder work here. So I'm going to stay kneeling, but I'm going to come into this position so you can see me a little better. I like to bring my knees just wider than hip distance apart here. And now I'm going to bring my elbows up so that they are directly in line with my collarbones, palms together as well. And from here, I'm going to open up my arms to a goalpost position, squeezing shoulder blades together, and then I close them all the way back here. Now the goal is not to arch your back to try and compensate for any lack of stability or lack of range through your back. So just try and move purely through the arms and shoulder blades. So you are squeezing your shoulder blades together as you bring your arms back, and then return elbows and palms all the way back together. So open and close. And think about working through both parts of the movement. So you're squeezing through your shoulder blades here, and then you're squeezing your chest muscles as you bring your palms back together. We've got 5, well done, and 4, squeeze shoulder blades together, and 3, and 2, and one last one here. Fantastic work. Really well done. Give those shoulders a little roll. They're probably feeling a little bit fatigued after that one. From here now, we're going to go into some sideline glute work. So I am going to lie all the way down on one side. Now I'm going to give you some options here. Some people prefer to stay elevated up on your forearm like this, and I'm going to be demonstrating from this position. However, if you start to get a little bit achy through the shoulder that's stabilizing on the ground here, or if you feel like your neck is just getting a little bit tender in that position, absolutely feel free to lie all the way down so that you're lying on your bicep here and you're really nice and lifted up through your rib cage. So you should see here that I've got enough room under my rib cage to reach my fingers underneath. So make sure that you're not crushing your fingertips. That would be resting just underneath your waistline there. So I'm going to demonstrate from this position. So if you can comfortably stay in this position, come and join me. Just make sure that your collarbones stay open. So you do not want to be collapsing into this little space underneath you here. You really want to stay lifted. Imagine I'm coming around behind you and lifting up your rib cage there. Starting off here, I'm going to make sure my bottom leg is nice and relaxed underneath me. My hips are stacked, one on top of the other, and my belly button is drawn into my spine. Now from here, I'm going to take this top leg up, I'm going to bring it in towards my chest, and then push away through the heel. So my knee comes in towards my chest, and then I push my leg back in line with my body. So it's not a kick straight out in front of me. If I turn myself completely upright again, I would actually be able to stand on this leg. So you want it back in line with your body. So knee comes in and then push through the heel. Now the goal here is to keep the knee away from the other one. Do not let it graze that other thigh as you push that leg away or draw it back in. And you should start to feel it through that glute a little bit there. That little side glute, little stabilizers should be starting to fire. Now remember, you can come to lie down on your upper arm at any time if you're feeling uncomfortable. Okay, we're going to do one more here. Now I'm going to take my leg and I'm going to sweep it forwards and backwards. Now this is a little bit harder because it's a much longer lever for the hip to have to work with. So make sure that you're not swinging back and forth with your upper body, that it is only the top leg that is swinging back and forth here. So we're going to go for 5 and 4. Should be feeling this through the glute. Let me know if you're not. 2, no movement through the upper body, staying lifted. 1, okay. Now I'm going to bring my shins so that they are parallel with the side of the mat, making sure that you stay lifted, hips are stacked one on top of the other, bottom pokes outwards, and now I'm going to open up that whole top leg and then lower that whole top leg down. So you'll see here, it's all lifting up in one neat little plane. I'm not just lifting the knee up and I'm not just lifting the heel up. They are coming together. It's a little package deal. So open and close, staying lifted, making sure that belly button draws into the spine, making sure that you are not rocking that top hip backwards. There is so much going on here. We've got 5 and 4, and don't get too excited about this countdown because there's more coming. 3, making sure that your neck is free. 2, and last one. Now come up halfway and we're going to draw little circles. So if you imagine that there's like a little Mr. Squiggle pencil on your kneecap, you are going to be drawing a little circle directly out in front of you. 3, 2, 1. Let's change directions. 7, 6, 5. That glute should be working. 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest there. Beautiful work. Let's go around to the other side. So starting off, you can be up on your forearm, as I mentioned before, or you can be all the way down on your soft, nice bicep. It is up to you, whatever feels most comfortable. Starting off, you want to make sure that you are not flopping into that arm there, but you are staying really tall and lifted. So draw your belly button into your spine, keeping your hips stacked one on top of the other, and think about pushing your pelvis as far away from you as possible. So you don't want to be sinking into that pelvis. You want to stay tall and lifted through your mid-body. From here now, I'm going to take my top leg and I'm going to draw it in towards my chest, and then I'm going to stomp it away. So knee draws in and then stomp it away. Check in with the rest of your body. Make sure that you're not shrinking as your leg comes in. Stay long and tall. Knee comes in, stomp through the heel. Think about keeping your heel in front of your body as you draw your knee in. So you don't want to tuck your heel up behind your bottom. You want to keep it almost like it's gliding along the edge of the mat as you come in. We've got 5 and 4. Keeping that lifted, moving along a little horizontal plane. 3 and 2. Okay, now from here, we sweep this long straight leg forwards and sweep it back. Now just move within the comfortable range that you've got. You do not want to be tucking your tailbone in between your legs here. Think about sticking your bottom out and just moving within the range that you've got. Especially if you're tight through your hammies, you won't be able to sweep your leg very far forwards, but you will still be working your bottom. So stick with this as best you can. We've got 5 and 4. The good part's coming up. 3 and 2. Okay, now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw both knees forward so that my shins are lining up with the side of the mat. And now I open and close my whole top leg. Remember, the heel and the knee are a package deal, so they come together as you open and close. And think about the movement being produced by your bottom. So open and close that whole top leg. We've got 6 and lower. And 5, the good part's coming up after this. 4, check in with the rest of your body, staying lifted. 3 and 2. Okay, lift up and hold, and now we're going to draw circles. Come and join me as soon as you're ready. We've got 8 in a row, so only 5 and 4, little circles, steady pelvis. 3 and 2. And 1, and now let's change directions. 8, 7, home stretch. 6, 5, little glute should be working. 4, 3, 2, 1, and beautiful work. Give it a pummel. We're going to stretch those glutes now, and we're going to come down into this position here. So if you want a different stretch, you can definitely lie down and do the cross glute stretch, which I've shown you in other videos. But today we're going to go into a piriformis stretch. So bringing your heel on top of opposite knee. Now, if that is too difficult to come into this position here, you can absolutely lie all the way down on the ground, and that's a much more comfortable position to hold there. But if you would like a deeper stretch, the seated one is a really good option. A couple of little tips with this one. I really like to think about keeping both hips pushing away from me and not hitching up on either side. The heel goes, or the ankle crosses over the knee, and then I flex the foot and push the knee away from me, and I get a little bit more of a stretch through those hip rotators. So holding each side for about 15 to 30 seconds. You can pause the video and stretch for longer if you feel that you need a little bit more of a stretch. And we'll cross over to the other one. So ankle over knee, knee turns outwards, hips push away from rib cage and flex the foot. And this side needs more of a stretch, so I'm going to come up into a nice seated position here. Really think about keeping shoulders back and down, foot flexed, and you should feel a really good stretch right about there. So proud chest and stretching here for, let's go 5 more seconds. And then we're going to go into something a little bit different. Now, I'm going to be sitting in a nice upright position to begin with, holding onto the backs of my thighs. And we're just going to go into the C curve to begin with. So with the C curve, I want you to think about tucking the tailbone, keeping shoulders relaxed, peeling down about halfway, and then rolling all the way back up into a seated position. So this is level 1. If you ever need an option to come back to, you can hold on to the backs of your legs and just gently roll down and then come all the way back up. Now, you can come and join me for level 2 if you'd like a little bit more. It's with long reaching arms. So arms reach forwards as you peel down and then exhale as you roll back up. Only move within your comfortable range. So you should be feeling your abdominals working here. If you're feeling your lower back, don't roll down as far. And you can do it in a seated position on a bed instead if you are still feeling your lower back no matter how far you roll back. Okay, we're going to go into a more challenging option now. Now remember, everyone is built differently, so if you just move at your level today, you will feel fabulous. Do not push yourself to take on an option that is too difficult for your body today. Little progression. I'm going to peel back and hold, and then I'm going to bring one leg up to a tabletop position. I lower that leg back down, and I roll back up. Now I'm going to bring the other leg up this time. Peel down, other leg up to tabletop, bring that leg back down, and roll all the way back up. So remember, you really want to be focusing on rolling up all the way to a really good posture. So making sure that you're sitting up tall first, then peel back. Tabletop, lower back down, and come back up. Now this might be a really nice option for you. So you might be feeling your abs working, it's feeling good, and you don't really want to push yourself further. For those of you at home that have done Pilates before and you want to test yourself a little bit more, coming down, feel your balance across the sacrum there, bringing up one leg tabletop, followed by the other, then bring one leg down, followed by the other, and roll back up. It is up to you if you take this option or not. It's not actually terribly difficult, so it is a really good option to take. It's just trusting that you can really draw those abdominals in. So one leg, followed by the other, one leg down, other leg down, and roll back up. And if you're staying with the alternating legs, that is absolutely fine. Choose the option that suits your body best today. And we're only going to do one more rep here. Peeling down, strong through the core, one leg, other leg, then bring them back down and roll back up. Fantastic work. Coming all the way down for our final exercise here. Now this is the one where you might like to have a towel behind your head. It's up to you. From here, I'm going to bring my feet really nice and close together, and then I'm going to open my knees out wide, not too far, just so that you can still keep your heels planted on the ground. So the knees are parted, heels are together, and then from here, we are going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, and then gently lower them all the way back down. and lift the hips up towards the ceiling and then lower back down. Now, one little progression here, if you would like to take on a slightly more challenging option, is coming up onto the toes at the top of your range, then heels down and lower back down. So it's not easy. It requires a little bit of hip stability and hammies that behave themselves, but still keep those heels together and knees turned out wide. So we're going to go for 5 more here. Knees stay out wide, lift the hips up, toes, back to heels, lower hips back down, and 4, hips lift, onto the toes, heels lower. Let's go 3 more here. Lift, squeeze through the calves, lower. Let's go 2 more here. Lifting up onto those toes, lower the heels down, lower the hips, and 1 more here. Lift, curl up, lower back down, lower the hips down. And fantastic work! You have done your Friday morning Pilates, so wiggle it all out. Stretch the arms right up overhead and wriggle your fingers and toes. Bring some warmth into all parts of your body. You might like to bring your feet about hip distance apart, arms to a capital T, and then rock the knees from side to side as you do the opposite motion with the upper body so that you're getting a really lovely twist through the spine. So we go for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and then we draw the knees in towards the chest, tuck up into a little ball, and you might like to do some little circles through the hips, and then part the knees and do some nice little circles this way. And let's change directions with those little circles. 3 and 2 and 1, and feet down. And ladies and gentlemen, you are all done. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed Friday morning Pilates, filmed on a Thursday rainy afternoon. Have a lovely weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you next Friday. Bye.